It says we're live. I'm not sure if we're broadcasting to YouTube. I've got my YouTube right over here as well to see if that's going to broadcast. This is the awkward start of one of these broadcasts where we're kind of waiting to make sure that we've gone live. And I believe we are. I believe it says we're live. Yes, we are. Hey, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mythic Conversations, the first Mythic Conversations special episode. And what a super cool way to kick it off with my friends that I'm a part of, Team Wolf King. This is the Team Wolf King holiday special and reveal extravaganza. So thank you for everyone for spending your Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, depending where you are, with us over here at Wolf King. Just checking to make sure before we really kick this off that everything is good. Let me ask the audience that are here. I can see that there are a number of people commenting. I'm assuming you're all on YouTube right now. You are checking this out live. We are coming through on YouTube, correct? Everything looks good on your end? Hit me up in the chat and let me know so I know before we really get the ball rolling that from the technical side, we're good to go. Most people right now are just saying hello. I'm just waiting for that person that is on YouTube to give me the thumbs up that we are looking good. Loud and clear, says Nate Strong. Thomas says correct, perfect, and it goes on from that. So everybody, I think we're ready to do this. Welcome to the Team Wolf King holiday special and reveal extravaganza. I am your host for this special. My name is Jeremy Gerard. I'm a Mythic Legions collector and customizer. I also have the distinct privilege of being the digital marketing manager for Four Horsemen Studios, and I am the host of this show of Mythic Conversations that's right here on my YouTube channel every Wednesday night at 7:30. But for this special, usually it's just me on Mythic Conversations rattling for an hour and a half. Today, I've brought some of my best friends to, kind of kick in the holiday season with me, to spread some holiday cheer and to really talk about some cool stuff from Team Wolf King. So I'm going to introduce them now, starting with the Wolf King himself, Len LaGuardia. Say hello to everyone, Len.
Hello, everyone.
Next, we have from Michigan, one of the painters that works for Wolf King and someone who's been instrumental in coming up with different ideas for some of the products that have come out this year and which will come out in 2021. That's Mr. Stephen Bisciotti. Say hello, Steve.
Hello, everybody.
Now, you may recognize Steve. He's also the host of a number of podcasts, Legions Cast, the My Wife Is Gonna Kill Me podcast, Po2, and I'm sure he's got a couple others that he's working on right now as well. Very, very big guy. Team Wolf King is an international affair. We've got people that are coming in from not only the U.S., but from abroad, starting with all the way from Sweden, one of the sculptors working for Team Wolf King, Mr. Emil Wickman. Say hello, Emil.
Hello, everybody.
Excellent. And finally, joining us from Argentina, Buenos Aires, I believe he said, someone who I have been able to work very, very closely with. If you enjoyed any of the stuff that I put out through Team Wolf King this year, it is because of this man right here, Mr. Walter DeMacco of Mass Customs. Walter, say hello.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Whew. So once again, we're thrilled to have everyone here. What we are going to do for the next few hours is we're going to talk a little bit about the amazing year that Wolf King has had in 2020, for all of the challenges of this past year. And they're not minimal. I mean, this has been a tough year for many, many people. But for all those challenges, the fact that I've been able to work with these individuals on this project has been absolutely amazing. The fact that we're still in year one it blows my mind. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. It is a holiday special, so we're going to talk a little bit about the holidays. You can see that we're all looking very, very festive for this. So we'll talk a little bit about the holidays and maybe how all of us enjoy and celebrate that holiday, especially in these different countries and different cultures. But probably the reason why most of you are here is today, the second part of the title of this event is Reveal Extravaganza. And that's because we have a ton of super cool stuff to reveal today. Trust me when I tell you that you are going to be blown away for what these artists have been working on and what they have planned for you for 2021. Additionally, it is called Mythic Conversations for a reason. There is a chat here in YouTube. I am monitoring it throughout the day. If you have some questions, if you want to comment, hit us up in the chat. We will do the best that we can to answer questions along the way. Looking at those comments, it says that I stole, it looks like I stole the Clark's Christmas jacket. Okay. from Christmas Vacation. Denny greeting us from the Netherlands. So not only is this an international group of panelists, I guess, but we've got people watching from all over the world as well. Merry Christmas to you, Patrick, as well. So, Len, I said a few minutes ago that, this is year one. Wolf King started, the first sale was April of this year. So less than a year. Honestly, when you first started doing this, when that website first went live and that first sale went live, did you ever think that in such a short time this company would make the impact it's made on the Mythic community? And more importantly, that the Mythic community would embrace Wolf King Customs in the work that you've done the way they have?
Yes.
Very humble.
No, in all honesty, if you do what you love and you put things out that you enjoy, and we've discussed this, all of us. If it makes you happy, then that's what's the beginning of it all is. So there was really no way to fail. As long as we were happy with what we were putting out, it seemed like everyone else is loving it. So it's all good. I never thought it would, I never thought we'd be as hectic and busy as it is. It definitely grew at a faster rate than I ever anticipated. And it's been a wild ride. It's been a learning ride because every step there's no playbook for this.
Yeah.
And there might be a playbook for running a mail order business or an online business, but what's going on here is that there's no standard to follow. It's not like you can model it after someone else or something else. So it's definitely been interesting that way. And I think we're doing good so far. They hit some speed bumps behind the scenes with little things here and there, production and what have you. But I think overall, everyone seems really happy and we're having a positive impact on the community. And I'm just super lucky to work with all you guys. That's the best part, because surrounding myself with good talent is always an amazing thing. It makes what I try to do easier.
Absolutely. Yeah. I seeing the feedback that people have given the company and the products, especially, seeing people that either take the painted pieces and really enjoy that and put it on and display those, that's incredibly rewarding because they're buying something that we've, one of the artists has painted. Stephen, I'm sure that blows your mind when you paint a bunch of these things and then you see somebody posting a head that you helped bring to life and that Emil helped sculpt and, Len printed and then you painted. That collaboration, how does that feel to see someone post that picture on the Cabal saying, hey, thanks, Stephen Bisciotti, for this painted head?
It's always a surprise. It's like you don't think the people are really out there. And then when you see your head that you didn't know who it was going to, because let's face it, I don't know who buys them. Len does, but I don't. And then you're like, oh, that person bought a head, and there he is. And it's just always it's very fun to see, very rewarding to see. and loving every second of it.
It is great. We do have a couple comments. Von Creep is saying, "Happy holidays, fellas." Thank you very much.
Hey, Chris.
Thank
Von
you.
Creep, Chris Middlecamp, he's actually another one of the painters that does a lot of the different painting for Wolf King. So thank you very much, Chris, for joining us today. Daniel Douglas actually saying, "Wolf King parts really made me look at my collection differently this year. I'm finding so much joy in creating new characters and looking at toys more as creative outlets rather than just objects," which,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, what a cool comment, right? Yeah. But I totally get what he means. You know, being able, this line, Mythic Legions, has absolutely touched a creative chord for, you know, collectors in a way that I've frankly never seen any other line. Obviously buying the figures as is, putting those on display, they're incredible, but what you're able to do with these figures from a creative standpoint is incredible. And then what companies like Wolf King and, you know, all the other providers as well, it's amazing what they're doing. Now, Emil, I'm going to go to you for a minute. You're kind of a jack of all trades here, where, you know, you do sculpting, but you're also doing a lot of painting. You're making customs yourself. So, you know, you're like the unicorn that you can conceive of an idea. And, you know, unlike Stephen and myself, where we have to talk to somebody and say, "Hey, can you make this for us? I have an idea." You know, when I come up with an idea, I call Walter, I message Walter, and I say, "Walter, I need you to make me this animal head." You can actually bring that to life. So talk to everyone here a little bit about how cool it is to have an idea for a character that you're able to see totally from concept all the way through printing and customizing.
Yeah. I mean, just starting out with Mythic Legions, I got my first skeleton Legion builders. I put them on the shelf. I just wanted the skeletons. Okay. I saw them, and you know that one feeling that whenever you walk by the cabinet, you just open it and just, I'm gonna pose this little like this. And I started to realize that, okay, this is different from all my other collectibles. This makes me feel like a child again. Actually, I mean, honestly, it's like I'm playing again. It's okay. So starting to collect and then getting to do the first custom head.
Yep.
I wanted to make a head for for a vampire. It was, and now, I mean, to just I'm just so enjoying it so much. I mean, okay, I got this character like when you're painting on a paper, but here you have parts, and then you see I need a head for this one or an arm. Okay, I haven't done an arm yet. Okay, but whatever. It's the greatest feeling. And then, I mean, you do it just for yourself. That's the first thing, the first head. You don't go like, oh, I'm gonna make a business. No, I want a part for my toy. And then you see someone else that says that's a cool head. Then you get this. I mean, that's really encouraging. But like you said, I'm not sure if I'm just talking all over the place here, but I mean, to get that head printed, to get it in hand,
yeah.
And then, I mean, it's just a great feeling. It's just a great feeling. It's a fun feeling. And the next level to all of this is when you get to do it with all of you, and it feels like we're playing. I mean, we're chatting about, okay, maybe we should print this and maybe we should do this, but it's actually playing. And I'm having so much fun. And the conversation with others who enjoys the same parts or different parts, or someone who gets back to me on something that I've done, it's like, it's a big playroom. And I think that's the biggest thing, actually. I'm having fun with a lot of friends all over the world.
Yeah, that's incredible. Absolutely. So, Walter, you're the last one who I haven't spoken to yet. As I said, you know, during the introduction, working with you has been absolutely amazing for me this year. And you know, I've told this story a few times, but, you know, I reached out to you last year and you were doing some parts and you were actually selling on Shapeways. and there was a couple parts that I wanted. And, you were super generous and you said, hey, I'm a huge fan of your work. I'd love for you to use these things. I'm going to have them sent to you. So you sent me a couple parts, including that Mark III Marine head that Wolf King has now printed a new version of and sold, which has been super popular. But I remember we started talking and you said, is there anything that you've always wanted? Any kind of part? I'd love to do a project with you. And I had wanted one of those Kitsune fox heads for so long. And I mentioned that to you and you said, yeah, we can do that. And that's, for me, that's how this all started. Because originally for me, I just wanted that head for myself. I never, like Emil was saying, I never went into this saying, hey, I want this to be a business endeavor. It just started as something I wanted. It just, circumstances being what they are. I got connected with Len. That got revealed. That got released. And it's just absolutely struck a chord with so many people. The amount of people that love that particular part has been incredible. So I thank you incredibly for the work we've been able to do. You're an incredibly gifted sculptor. You're doing stuff, beyond just a project we see here at Wolf King. Talk a little bit about just kind of what got you into doing 3D sculpting. How did you get started with this stuff?
Thank you. Thank you for your words. I started experimenting 10 years ago. I am an illustrator and sculptor now, but I have some action figures project, and I contact Sebadom to work in that project, but he later contacts me and hire me for do some works, and he was my teacher. I begin to sculpt more and more and more, and here I am.
Excellent. Well, I will say that Seba, we owe you a big thank you for helping to mentor Walter, I guess, early on, because like I said, I can absolutely say that I am absolutely thrilled with the projects that we've worked on so far and for all the cool stuff that we have coming, some of which we're going to look at today. On that note, it's 2/18. Why don't we start looking at some reveals for 2021? Does that sound good, everybody?
Just one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Got a message from Walter, Mr. Cabal. He's just saying hello to everyone.
Awesome.
Hello, Walter.
And I think that's a good point as well, because he's kind of, the group that you meet through a community. So that's a good point for Wolf King as well. We wouldn't have met otherwise. I wouldn't have met you guys, at least.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're talking about how amazing this toy line is and the creativity that it creates and it allows for, the community it allows for. It's funny because kind of in my role as an ambassador for the line, obviously I get to work on sourcehorseman.com. I do my show, things like this. I'm very, very vocal and visible in the community. So I meet lots of new fans, and it's amazing when fans who are longtime toy collectors, they've collected lots of other lines, when they come into the Mythic Legions line and into the Cabal, and they see the community, they interact with the horsemen, they interact with people like all of you. You all know you're in the community, you're important members of the community. You know how rewarding and welcoming it is. But people are just absolutely blown away. And I've always said that's because it starts at top with how accessible and friendly the horsemen are. But I think it also comes down to people like Wolf King and Team Wolf King, and how all of you are very, very friendly, posting your projects, posting with enthusiasm the things you're working on, commenting on other people's stuff. It's a very positive environment, and we certainly have Walter and the Cabal to thank for that in a big way. Definitely. So Len, we're going to start
Yes.
with you today. I've got a number of things that we're going to show for you. And I think the first thing that we should mention is so Wolf King just did an in-stock sale where you went back to the catalog and you had versions of almost everything that was released in 2020, right?
Right.
Now, the next sale is for January. Do you want to announce that sale date for everybody here?
That's the 23rd, I believe.
Yeah. Yep. So January 23rd. So
and, go ahead.
I was going to say a number of the things we're going to look at today when we say these will be available in the January sale, we are talking about January 23rd.
Right. Is there a name for that sale? We always have such catchy names. I don't know if there really is one. Anyone want to suggest one?
Yeah, we've got over a month. So we right now it's just the January 23rd sale. We'll think of something.
Yeah, that's pretty lame. Well, we can do better than that.
Oh, isn't it? Actually, isn't it 2021 is the year of the wolf and it all starts on January 23rd?
Sure.
Okay.
That's pretty long. We can cut it down, but we'll figure it out.
So the first thing we're going to look at, and it's funny when everyone sees these pieces today, some of these things have actually been in production for a really long time. The nature of, trying to put out products and, I get to work behind the scenes with all the artists trying to plan out some of these items and helping to try to coordinate with Len what's going to be ready for sale. What's interesting is there are items that are ready for production, they're ready for sale, but for one reason or another, they just keep getting pushed. So I believe this first piece here, this is something that was ready to go quite some time ago. And this is a nice little accessory add-on that fans are going to be able to use with their Mythic Legions. This is the backpack, Len. Talk to us a little bit about the backpack.
Right. So this backpack is by a gentleman named Alex Dahl, and he lives in Canada, and he's done a number of our parts. That my parts that I really commission. I sketch them up, and he kind of takes the sketch and turns them into what we have. And the concept behind this was going to be a miner, like a backpack that like a someone working in the mines would wear. So it had like some accessory parts for it, but I kind of morphed over time to more of like an adventurer's pack, like an all-in-one kind of backpack that can have different things. If you see on that picture, there's a loop on the side, and that loop is to kind of hold some different tools. So we're going to have some different tools that can go with it. Hand tools. There we go. Yep. That's the pick. Yep. And if you don't want to do a pick and you want it more of adventure, we're going to have a hatchet, like a one-handed hatchet that can slip in there. And the other side has more of a hook that is universal. Maybe I have something in mind for it, but right now it's just kind of like a hook that you can put anything on. And it's just fun. The classic bedroll. As you can see, Jeremy painted it, and it's amazing. He said it paints really well. It's got nice texture, detail. How was that paint on that, Jeremy? Good, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like you can see actually around kind of the lip of the backpack, I guess what the flap would be. There's these little areas, these little metal kind of design pieces here. Those are a ton of fun to paint. The buckles and everything. It just took paint so well. I had a blast doing this. A little bit of dry brushing, a little bit of gold paint. And like I said, you mentioned that loop, putting the pickaxe in there. The fact that you can put some other stuff in there as well. It's a really fun piece and a really cool little add-on to I think add some more depth to one of your characters.
One of the neat little details that I wanted done with it and we did with it was I love G.I. Joe, like a lot of us, like the classic, the 80s and 90s Joe. So I took a cue from like the backpacks and we hollowed out areas on the back to not only save on resin usage, but also on weight. And I think I used like maybe it was a Crimson Guard or Duke's backpack that we kind of modeled after, where we cut the holes out. And I just thought that was a fun little detail because Joe's, who doesn't love Joe's?
Yeah, I'm actually holding it right here. This
Yeah.
is the actual backpack that we just saw pictures of, and I've actually got the little pick here as well, and it just, fits right in that little piece there. Very, very cool. And there's the back that Len was talking about. Really, really neat. I like that a lot. Yeah, it's a really cool piece, really fun piece. And Len, it's interesting because I know when we started it, we were thinking about different heads and stuff like that. The weapons and accessories, those have been some of the most popular pieces. So, I mean, correct, right? People have really gotten the back scabbards and stuff. People have really enjoyed those.
Yeah, the scabbards were, I thought it was just a fun idea. And I kind of, from the very first time I set up a normal figure, I was like, man, I wish I had somewhere to put the sword. And it just worked. And I did the model of it myself. And then Walter did all the texturing, which really, he did it all. I mean, he just totally made it like work. If you some of you have seen the original that I did, and it was like nothing compared to what he did over with it. And it's just fun. And man, that thing, people really, really loved that. I mean, that was a great item. And it'll be back, of course, like everything.
You've used that part, right, Steve? I know I've seen some of your customs with the sword and the scabbard and back. It's a great add-on.
Yeah, definitely. I've used that part, and I've also used the early one that Len's talking about before the prototype. And yeah, Len didn't do a very good job on that.
Yeah,
it's funny
what happens when you don't have any talent.
It's funny. I remember using that first one as well, and I got it, and I'm like, dude, this is so cool.
I loved it.
And then I saw the version that Walter worked on, and I was like, what the heck? This thing is so much better. Like, I almost didn't know what it was missing until Walter put his touch on it. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at, and by the way, I got to respond to one question. Anthony was asking what's in the mug. This is a cool little mug I got at I got it in Munich, Germany last year at their Christmas, the Christmas bazaar. They sell something called Glühwein in it, which is like a hot mulled wine. I'm drinking hot apple cider with a little bit of whiskey in it to warm me up on a cold day.
Very nice.
Very good. So the next thing we're going to look at, Len, this is something that you actually showed, I believe, I don't know if it was a render, an unpainted piece of this character at Legion's Con. This is a character that you actually call Fish Sticks, correct?
Correct. Right. Yeah, so it was unpainted. Yep.
So let's look at this character and see. So are we seeing him?
Yep.
There we go. So this character, this is one that you worked on a little while ago as well. Talk to us about this fun character.
Well, this is another piece by Alex. Alex is awesome. He's amazing, but he takes his time, but it's worth it. And we tried to get this one out for the Monstrous sale because it made sense. Little creature, little black lagoons, but it just didn't work. It didn't get prototyped in time, and we didn't get any kind of the fit right. I just really wanted like a cool flair of creature from the Black Lagoon with a little bit of an edge to him. I wanted the larger fins, like almost like a mohawk fins, just to really stand off. And then Alex kind of went off on the rest, and he did the kind of blobfish look to the nose, and he really went with it. And when he showed me, I'm like, damn, that's it. That's great. And I said, how about hands? And he did the hands, and they're mild. They're not over the top. They can't hold anything, but I think they fit. They just make it work all the way around. And then you don't have to paint like a gloved iron hand or a different hand to be green. So they're not crazy. They're webbed, you can tell, and they have claws, but it works. I just like it.
Yeah,
we have that tail. And that tail, how long ago did I do that, Jeremy? How old is that?
That tail was one of the first pieces that you ever sent me, and it sat in my box of parts unpainted. And then when you sent me these parts for this character, Fish Sticks, I was like looking at it, and I said, oh, that tail would be perfect on there. And I actually said to you, I'm going to use the fishtail. And you were like, what? What? Like you had forgotten about it. It was so long ago, but it fits with the character so well. I dig it.
Yeah,
the big flat nose is a lot of fun. It's got all, and the photos don't even do the justice. You know, there's a whole bunch of like little bumps around there that I did a little bit of metallic on there. Super fun. I like it a lot. It looks really, really cool just to paint it up on a thump body, which that's what you imagined it on, a thump, right?
Yeah, I love the thump body. It's just, I like the colors, I like the textures, I like everything about it. So I guess I kind of tend to stick a lot of stuff on there, but I really like that, and it's readily available. We can get it easily, and it's just a great body. You know, go out and buy them. Go out and buy them a lot because they're fun. You can do a ton with them.
Absolutely. So I've got that here as well. This is the one that was painted up. Now, this is not going to be available in January. This is probably a little bit later in 2021, correct?
Right. Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. We're pretty set for what's going to be January, and he just didn't make it right now. So once again, he gets pushed back, but it happens.
I did this one too. I painted it in purple as well.
That looks really cool.
Yeah, it's funny, Steve. After I did it, these are the exact colors I used for the squid head. And I didn't even realize I was doing it. And I know this is a Mythic Legion show, but I've also really gotten into Mezco recently. It works great, Steven, on a Popeye figure to make like a really creepy, like cursed, like Lovecraftian style villager. A lot of fun with that one as well. Okay, so I'm going to bring up some next things. Now, Len, this next one is also another figure, another piece, I should say, that has been ready to go for quite some time. This one is finally going to be revealed, or I should say released as part of the January sale. So this is going to be the Mantis Warrior. So tell us a little bit about this Mantis while I get the photos all ready to go.
Okay. Yeah, we did the Mantis a while ago, Walter, right? Walter did the Mantis for me, and he's probably wondering why he never saw it out yet. But I don't know. It just kept getting pushed, you know, and it's a lot of fun. I wanted a figure that used its own neck peg and a ball socket type of neck. I don't know. I just did. I said I want something that like the neck fits the head. So for some reason, I thought a Mantis would be super cool. I pictured them just like Jeremy did them here as drones, almost like a drone warrior. Real simple build with, you know, a nice, the elf builder body or the Steel Knight body. Mm-hmm. Easy and fun, and you can army build them and have a drone army of Mantis men. I don't think I have a name for him yet, but he's a lot of fun. He has tons of texture. If you hit the eyes with a real light coat of paint, it picks up all the prism effect of the eyes. Yeah. Fun. Just like, you know, I really like them. Anyone that's had a prototype of them, they really enjoy it. And I'm just super happy with it. In the first picture, he has a hammer, which is we call it the Stinger hammer. And that's been around a really long. There it is. That one I think has been around forever, and there's a lot of people that have that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it was another one that Alex did, and it's just it has a real insect feel to it. It has like a stinger for the bottom, and it like a real like thickly textured striking head that's stone, and I think it paints really well. I like the piece because you can go from really elaborate paints to really get into the details to real simple where you just coat it all with one color and go back and hit it with a wash and it still looks good.
Yeah. So Walter, Len was just saying this is one of the projects you worked on a while ago, correct?
Yes. I had not seen the Mantis.
Yeah.
It's a reveal for me.
Yes, a reveal. You worked on it. You never even got to see them painted.
Very nice. Very nice. Excellent.
Very cool. Yeah. To Len, to your point, I I remember when we first started talking about this, and I painted these pieces up. You sent them to me, and one of your first comments was, "I want it to be on, a Steel Knight Legion builder or like an Elf Legion builder." You really wanted it to be on figure bodies that were readily available, which is something that I don't know that the general public who are watching this show now and who certainly purchase Wolf King products. We spend a lot of time as a group really focused on that, really focused on what bodies are people going to use for this? What are the recipes? If you notice that everything that gets sold on Wolf King always gets shown with painted versions so people can see what it's going to look like. I know there are some people, Stephen, right? Travis says this all the time, that he has no vision. So he sees an unpainted part and he decides to skip it. And then you instead get that part, like the wolf heads, and you paint it up. And then Travis is all bummed out that he didn't buy one, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
For sure. Travis is an idiot.
So it's important to show the painted versions and to make sure they are available, or that you can use recipes for them on some readily available pieces. So what do you guys think about this? I'm looking at the comments here. People have been really excited. Actually, going back a little bit, Len, people were saying that backpack would be great for a Yukon Cornelius custom.
Oh yeah, that's great.
So there we go.
Bumble right here. We already have him.
There we go. That's great. You can use that for a bumble.
Yep.
So people saying the hammer's sweet, the Mantis guys could work for Cosmic Legions as well. That's really funny, Len, because that's totally true. Some of the stuff that you've put out, the squid head, the crawdaddy head that we just did in the sale, fish sticks here, this Mantis head, all of those absolutely have the look of a Star Wars Cantina alien.
Oh, absolutely.
Those could totally be Cosmic for the future. A couple people saying, are these available? No, right now we're looking at reveals that will be available at some point in 2021. These particular pieces here, the Mantis head and neck, that will be available in the January 23rd sale. And that was Sig that asked that. Awesome. Richard Jones saying he loves the Mantis. He's been waiting for insects for a while. Joe at Vasapolo, who is also another painter who does work for Wolf King. Joe, thank you very much for joining. Joe is actually saying it's one of the best things Wolf King does for the customers. Seeing the scale and seeing it fit on pieces is a major plus. Awesome.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, Joe. Joe's the man.
Great. So, Emil, are you ready to paint some of these parts? Are you looking at all these things, getting excited about them too?
I'm gonna paint these guys or girls, maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
Mantis girls.
So, Len, we've got a few more reveals for you here. This next one is one that we don't have a painted version of. This is one that we just have as a render, and it's one that I think is super, super cool because anyone that's seen my customs know that I really like the kind of, samurais and Asian culture and all that. So tell us a little bit about the samurai head that you had designed.
Ooh.
That's fun.
Cool.
I kind of took this as I looked at I don't know, I wanted a samurai head. I wanted one where the face mask detaches and the helmet comes off. And we had this months ago, right? I mean, it was a long time ago I had this done. And it wasn't quite perfect. Like it just needed work and it went kind of on the back burner. And just recently I had someone go in and just fix everything and redo it. And I mean as recent as far as last week. Yeah, and this is what we have out of it, and it just came out phenomenal. And we have yet to even print it, and I know it will just from looking at it. And it's just a lot of fun. I think I was inspired by the Hordak tribute figure from the All Stars that the Horseman came out with. Because I really thought that looking at it without a head, it kind of had like a very Asian feel to it, like a rising sun pattern on the chest plate. And I knew right away, I said, I want to have this for it because I wanted to make it into like a samurai type figure.
So we're looking right now at the reveal underneath. So this is going to be a faceplate that actually plugs into a skull head.
Right.
Very cool.
So you're utilizing the nose hole to hold the mask on is the plan, huh?
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. It was a little tricky because we didn't really want it to look like it was like a single hole in the nose socket, so to say. So we really had to kind of play with it to make it look right. So when it was off, it still looked good. And I think he did a good job. Actually, in the newest version, like a day ago, we kind of changed it to a triangle, more of a plug. So it does have less of that like socket look to it on the skull itself. But I think it's a lot of fun.
Sweet.
Yeah, super
Very
cool.
cool.
So you mentioned, I know people are going to ask this. You mentioned that you imagined this going on the Lord Dragul body, the Hordak tribute. So this is going to be scaled for 1.0 bodies, essentially.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because it was one of those things where it kind of worked backwards, where I actually saw the piece, the figure, the base figure first, and it inspired the model second.
Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. So the last thing we have for you, Len, is actually a little series that you've been working on. So I love doing series. This is the first series that you've actually done something with, and it's called The Misfits of Chaos. While I'm bringing up these images to share, why don't you tell us a little bit about this project and who you're working with on it?
Okay, so I got really jealous of the bromance that Stephen and Emil had with their, with their series. So I said, I need to have this. So I reached out to my friend, Patrick Boyle, who is just an amazingly creative person. Patrick, when he shows his customs and what he creates, it just blows my mind that he has such an eye for finding, just creative eye that is incredible. And he can morph these figures into things like football team logos and it's amazing. Look up Pat's work on the Cabal because he does great stuff. So I reached out to him and I said, I want to do a project where it's kind of like a pirate base. Since I've started doing Wolf King, I really wanted to do some type of pirate thing. It's kind of like one of my inspirations. I said, I want to see like pirates in this line. So that's what we did. And Pat's doing the story and he's doing a lot of the naming, and I'm using some names based on real life. And if you're part of it, you know who you are. And it's just been a really fun time. So we have a guy, and his name is I'm having connection trouble, so I can't bring anything up. I apologize.
Well, I've got it here. Len. Tell you what, let me read.
Okay. Yeah, I can't see it.
Yeah, let me read chapter 1. So this is something that I know you said that Patrick worked on the story with you. So this is the story for chapter 1 for the Misfits of Chaos. And it says, and I assume it's pronounced The Nest.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah. So the Nest was once one of the finest sailing vessels in the port city of Chaos had to offer. Unfortunately, it was lost in a game of cups to a con man and wannabe sailor by the name of Berto Kuki. Kuki was a con man by trade who often peddled transformative elixirs to many a mark. Unfortunately, the Nest was one with no crew, but alas, no sailor worth his salt would sail with an inexperienced captain. So Berto, now Captain Cookie, had to make do with wharf rats, ex-pit fighters, and landlubbers prone to seasickness. Dubbing themselves the Misfits of Chaos, the crew of the Nest seek to make a name for themselves as an inept but effective pirate crew sailing and reaving the coasts. So there you have it. These are your pirates. And you did show a teaser of one of these at Legion's Con, correct?
Right. We showed the render of the of one of them.
So this guy.
Yeah, he changed a little bit. We fixed some stuff on him and changed him up.
Okay.
And he is kind of like the deckhand, kind of like the captain's favorite person to yell at type of character.
Mhm.
And we were actually just this morning trying to work on names for him, and I think we're getting closer to it. And he's just fun. I wanted to see a goblin with a shark skull, like he was wearing a fish skull as a helm, like he found it on the beach, he threw it on, and that's what we have here, because I like goblins, and I picture him again on like a thump or any type of goblin you want to put him on.
Awesome. Now, the write-up that I just read a little bit, and by the way, Thomas Ryberg, thank you for the compliment that I read almost as well as Travis. I do my best. I did stumble a little bit there. But in that write-up, you mention a Captain Cookie. Is that something I can show now?
Sure, absolutely.
So this is going to be the captain of the crew, correct? Tell us a little bit about this character, this captain, this inspiration.
Well, the captain is not really a captain, as Patrick so eloquently wrote in the story. He's really a con man who's pretending to be a captain of this ship, and he had to really get the bottom of the barrel dredges of the port to come and help him. So overall concept is it's going to be a mixed really race or breed of characters where we can pull from all the different genres of fantasy to kind of have this mixed crew of whatever we want. So we don't have to be in the limit of this is all goblin or this is all orc. We can have an orc, we can have an elf, we can just, they're all kind of guns for hire. Yep. And this is the captain, and we didn't want him to be human. And that's what we got. He's a rough guy, but he's ready. He's ready for action.
Very cool. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people can imagine using him as a dwarf as well. He's got the nice big bushy beard.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Excellent.
We might be working on some projects too to kind of help with a different build for him, and that's all I can really say about that. But we have some stuff in the works that are going to round him out, so to speak, really well.
And now I know that a lot of time when you put out pieces, we mentioned accessories and we showed the backpack. You also wanted to have some weapons for these pirates to wield. So the last things we have to show from the Wolf King in-house pieces, the pieces that you've worked on with this group, are a couple weapons, starting with the hammer.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like to have them like everything with sets. Everything needs a weapon to me. I don't know. It's just my thing. It's kind of like hats. I like everything with hats, but I also like weapons. So this hammer, we took inspiration from like the ancient stone anchor, like what they kind of look like. And when we looked up reference photos, they're not very exciting. We imagined it like this is something that this is the goblins, by the way, the ship's like first mate, Gilligan, so to speak. He kind of like took a anchor and made a hammer out of it, and this is his war hammer. Just a fun design. Again, Giovanni, he just really went off on it and did a lot on his own with a little input from me. And the chain is, again, inspired kind of by an anchor. It doesn't have a solid anchor feel to it, but it's got a lot of textures. And I think it would be a lot of fun for people to paint and just really get creative with.
Awesome. And the last piece we have, what is a pirate without his sword? We're looking at the sword now. Tell us about this piece.
Well, this piece is the captain's, cutlass. And again, I kind of went to Giovanni and I said, I need a cutlass. Our captain needs this. So this is what he came up with. And we did a couple edits on it and moved some stuff around and changed it out. And the final version I just really liked. It's a little beat up. It's notched. It's got some flaws, just like the characters, but it should be a lot of fun. And I think, it could be useful just for a lot of builds, because when we try to design, we want to be we love to see everything used in different ways, not just for what we have in mind. And I think this is something that could be done that way.
Absolutely. I agree completely. Very, very cool stuff, Len. Quick recap. The Mantis in the backpack, those are going to be available in January. Some of the other stuff that we just looked at, including the Chaos Pirates, those are all going to be available at other points throughout 2021, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. The Chaos Pirates, we're not going to see them for a little bit, in all honesty, because we, like Jeremy said, we really like to prototype everything. I like to send everything out to people to have them paint, test, see how it fits. I don't like just throwing stuff out without second opinions. And I'll send stuff to Stephen, and I'll send stuff to a lot of stuff to Jeremy. And even if I can get it to Emil, I'll send it to him too, because I just really like getting feedback, and
yeah,
it sets stuff off. I mean, there's stuff from April that's still not out yet, but it'll happen. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Absolutely. Len, on that note, you mentioned sending stuff to different people for testing. Would you say that Wolf King Customs has a lead tester? And
absolutely.
Is it Stephen?
It is Stephen.
That's what I thought.
Somebody had to take the lead.
I mean, there you go. You've heard it here. Stephen likes to refer to himself as the lead tester for Wolf King, but the Wolf King himself has acknowledged that is the truth. So congratulations, Stephen. You can now wear that mantle with pride. I'm
glad I can wear the mantle, because Len actually sent me a shirt that says lead tester on it, but he sent it to me in a medium. And I can't wear that.
So, that's a lie. That shirt's a 3X.
No, it's a medium. It's mismarked. It's mislabeled.
Oh, okay. Maybe you can give it to your daughter then.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Len. So it's the holidays. This is a holiday special. I mean, one of the things that I wanted to talk a little bit about was kind of like what we're all doing for the holidays this year, and kind of what maybe different traditions might be part of your family or your country. And I want to start with Emil, because he's been quiet for a little bit. And
do you really? Yeah.
You and I were chatting the other day, and I was actually asking you this question. In Sweden, are there any traditions? And you told me a really unusual tradition that I'd never heard about what you do in Sweden on Christmas Day, what you watch specifically. Why don't you tell our audience about what you do on Christmas in Sweden?
Okay, first of all, we're celebrating on Christmas Eve and not Christmas Day in Sweden. Okay. So we're doing a lot of different things, of course, but one thing that's happening every year at 3 p.m. There is a Donald Duck Christmas show on TV that about half the population is watching or something, and has been doing for many years. And if you're not watching it, you're making fun of not watching it, because it's such that is the tradition. And if you
So the Donald Duck Christmas cartoon is essentially your country's Super Bowl, where half the country watches it and the other half very proudly explains why they're not watching it.
You seem embarrassed by this, Emil, and I don't think you need to be. This is awesome.
I mean, people have traditions that span thousands of years almost, and we're like, yeah, we there is this American thing called Disney, and yeah, let's make that our holiday tradition. Yeah, let's do like the Americans do. Awesome. So it's a little bit silly, but it's like, the whole families, they're doing everything that they do before. They take a break. They're watching Disney Christmas special, and then there is the eat or whatever after. But I mean, it's not any Disney show. I mean, it's like it is a Disney special, and like and here we have a greeting from Cinderella, and then you see when she's getting ready for the prom, and the mice are helping her in the Christmas spirit, and then it's like, Robin Hood when he's, and here we have something from Robin Hood, and then we see when they're stealing stuff. Yeah. Okay.
That's great. That's great, Emil. Donald Duck. I'm going to be thinking about you on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, and
No,
maybe I'll even bring up a Donald Duck cartoon.
No.
Walter, so you're over there in Argentina, and before the show, when we were getting ready to go live, you were mentioning that it's actually quite warm in Argentina right now. You said it's like your summer over there.
Yes.
So very different, you know. But what are you enjoying over there for the holidays? What is a typical holiday like Christmas look like in your country?
Nothing special, but we eat winter meals and very, very heavy meals, and it is hot, and we end sweating a lot. It's all the decoration, all is like in a snowy country, but with a lot of heat.
Okay. Very cool. Very good. So they eat heavy meals. That doesn't sound too different than what we're doing here in America, does it, Stephen?
No.
Well, every day for me. On Christmas too for me as well. So, yeah.
Stephen, I know that both, I mean, we're all decked out, you know, for the holidays here, but I know that you and I have talked, you know, on chat and stuff. We both are actually very, very into Christmas.
Yeah.
Any particular fun traditions that you do, your family does, or something that you want to share?
Not really. I mean, nothing really out of the ordinary. If there's snow, we love to go on Christmas Eve, take a ride and look at Christmas lights. You know, that's pretty average and boring. One thing I always do, and most of the time my family doesn't join me with this, but I love to watch the A Christmas Carol on Christmas Eve. Specifically, there's a 1951, I think, version. It's an old black and white version because they always played it when I was growing up. It was always on. You could always flip it and find it, and I would be up in my bedroom and watch it, and it would loop over and over and over, kind of like A Christmas Carol does now, or not A Christmas Story does now with Ralphie. So that was always playing when I was a kid. So I have to, even though I've already watched it this season, on Christmas Eve, I'll have to watch that again because there's something about the mix of Christmas, the happiness, and then scary stuff that just works so well. I don't know why, but I love it.
We did that. So we won't be doing it this year because obviously with social distancing and stuff, but we've hosted Christmas Eve for our family a number of years, and we do a couple fun traditions. You mentioned, you know, the mix of holiday and scary, and there's even that, you know, there's a Christmas Carol, you know, scary ghost stories and tales of the, you know, so forth. So that's a tradition that, you know, I know that many, many years ago that people would tell ghost stories on Christmas to each other, like especially people that, you know, worked for large families and large houses. So we would do that at our house. That would be one of our Christmas Eve traditions where we'd have everybody over and we'd tell ghost stories, which, you know, we'd put a fire on, and we always thought that was fun. A lot of the traditions that we do, I love to travel. So I've been to a lot of different places, and I love to learn more about different cultures and, you know, their observance of the holiday. And one of the ones that I found really interesting is when I went to Iceland. I absolutely love Iceland. I've been a few times, and they believe in this character called the Yule Cat, which is this giant, monstrous, like human-eating feline that they believe that if you do not get an article of clothing on Christmas, you could become a victim of the Yule Cat. So that's why in Iceland, all children get at least one article of clothing for Christmas. So when we do our Christmas Eve, we buy a whole bunch of like fuzzy socks, like really usually holiday ones. I mean, we wrap them up and we put them by the door in a big basket. And as everyone leaves, they have to take a pair of socks with them so they don't get eaten by the Yule Cat on the way home.
So can I ask something?
Sure.
Okay, so Christmas, the supposed to be most happy time of the year. your traditions is to make it as scary and horrible as possible. I just want to say that now Disney feels quite okay with me, actually. Go Sweden.
Yeah, Donald Duck.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Len? Anything special that you
Well,
you observe?
obviously this year is going to be a lot different, but traditionally my family and I, we like to go to somewhere. It was just more of a day trip type thing. We always go to Hershey, Pennsylvania, which is the home of Hershey chocolate, which is the sweetest place on earth. And they just do it spectacular lights. They take the whole park and make it Christmas. And it's still cold and there's sometimes snow, so it has that really cool feel to it. And Christmas at Hershey is just awesome, and we like doing that. And being Italian, part Italian, and let me tell you, that means you're all Italian, especially if your father's the Italian one. We always do the Christmas Eve, the Feast of Seven Fishes, right? And that's really about it. And then Christmas Day, we just like to just chill out and relax at home.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like a bunch of great holiday traditions. I can't believe that. It seems like this year, for all the crazy, it seems like the holidays I can't believe that it's next week. Like, I'm looking at that. We went for a little hike today, me and the family. Actually, I'll share this. This is a funny little thing that we did today. So my wife has been saying that she wanted us to observe the 5 days of Christmas, which somehow my wife is making last 7 days, whatever, but we're doing this fun stuff. And today she wanted us to hike into the woods, like snowshoe. We actually snowshoed into the woods about a mile, found a Christmas tree and decorated it. So that's what I did to get into the holiday spirit before the Team Wolf King holiday special. I hiked into the woods and decorated a tree, and I will show you. I'll zoom in here. Notice that I am sporting my Team Wolf King Customs hat. So I was representing out there on the trail.
It's really awesome that you made a tree for all your furry friends.
We also, you can't see in the picture, but we also actually you might be able to. Yeah, we also left them these little rocks that my wife and daughter painted that say fun sayings on them, like "be kind" and things like that. So we left the little critters some decorations and some little rocks. With that, I think we're going to move on and do some more reveals. And Walter, we're going to go to you next. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. So one of the pieces, now Wolf King has put out a number of parts in 2020. Lots of heads, weapons. We've done feet. We just saw some hands for the Fish Sticks character. One thing that they haven't done yet is torsos. So that was a project that you decided you wanted to tackle. You said you wanted to work on some torsos. Now, these are pieces that I don't think we know exactly when they're going to be out yet, but we wanted to show everyone some of the cool stuff that you've been working on, starting here with this skeleton torso. Tell us a little bit about this piece.
Ooh.
Okay. This is a skeleton torso. The artists, the customizers will be able to build their armies, undead armies, and use this with the skeleton limbs, the parts.
Yep.
To complete a full skeleton character. 1.0 type of body.
Yep.
Type of torso.
Walter, these are amazing. I need them. Send them right now.
Thank you.
And I like Walter. I know. So this was a piece you actually had reached out to me months ago when you first started working on this. And, one of the challenges you were having that anyone's going to have with a skeleton torso is that waist connector piece. It's got to be thick enough to plug into the hips But because of the nature of it, it's a skeleton. Would you really just be the spine there? So we talked about maybe putting some armor there, and that's what you did here. You bulked up that piece with some armor while still being able to maintain that total skeletal look. That I think looks wonderful.
Yes, you gave me some tips, some ideas, and when I ask you, and I put that armor, that piece of armor in the base.
It's just great.
It's really cool. And now, Emil, you said that you were a big skeleton guy right out of the gate. So I'm sure that, you looking at this, I'm sure your wheels are turning where you're thinking about how you would use this in your customs.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is my favorite skeleton torso I've seen so far. And just the thing that you're covering up, so it really feels like a dead skeleton. There is nothing left, nothing, just
only bones.
Yeah.
Only bones. Well, it's interesting because there's a customizer named Christopher Jack Crowder who he actually does traditional sculpting and he casts it, and he did a skeleton body, but the way that he treated that midsection was he put a lot of organs there.
Yeah, but it was beautiful as well.
It was great, but I agree with you that because it has organs, it's going to work better on like a zombie. I used it to make like a lich type character, but if you want a true skeleton where there's no flesh on the bones, I really like what Walter did here. But Walter, to that point, the next things we're going to show they do start to go more in that zombie type fashion where there are some flesh on there. Actually, this one, I kind of just jumped the gun a little bit. So this one, it looks like a skeleton, but instead of being fully the bones, this has still got some remnants of some like armor or some cloth on it, correct?
Correct. Clothing, skin, flesh, and leather armor in the neck. You can paint some clothes and play with that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Walter, what are you using for sculpting? Are you ZBrush?
ZBrush, some elements in 3D Max, 3D Studio, but ZBrush is the main soft.
As someone who has obviously painted a lot of your pieces, the details just, they pop so much. It just, you start hitting them with a brush and the brush just seems to find those details and just knows where to go. It's uncanny how great they actually work from a customizing standpoint.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we got a number of people watching live, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that catch this on replay. What are you guys thinking of these torsos so far? I mean, this is something. Now, Len, you haven't even had a chance. These are pretty much brand new. You haven't even had a chance to test print these yet, have you?
Right. No, not yet. But I'm sure that they'll print beautiful because Walter does amazing work.
So these are going to be a little ways off, but some cool stuff to get excited about. So I was mentioning more zombie flesh and stuff. Look at this crazy, crazy design. What about this, Walter? Tell us what your thoughts were with this absolutely disgusting piece.
This is a rotten, corrupt torso. The idea for this torso came after a chat with Luis Torres. He sent me some images and asked me for a torso in that style. Months or a year later, I made this with that references. It's like a necromancer or a zombie, some undead character that with flesh and worms and disgusting things in general.
It's so nasty. Like, I'm sure people are going to just love painting it, but it is all those boils and stuff.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Ugh. Awesome.
You can build an army of these variants: the pure bone skeleton, the cloth skeleton, and the rotten. And you can build an army with this.
Absolutely, Walter. People are commenting. Drew Grubb saying it looks like a plague zombie. Richard saying love the bones and fabric skin, adds a whole new element to mythics. That's an important part too. I think we haven't really talked about is, a lot of times when we talk about the different things that we want to create for Wolf King, we're looking for ideas and for things that we feel will accentuate the line. And as part of that, I know every artist on this broadcast starts to think about, hey, well, what's missing? Like, what pieces do I not have in my display that I'd like to add? And I know that really that helps us decide what we want to create, what projects we want. Emil said it really well early on that, by creating stuff that you want, that you're going to be happy with, goes a long way to creating stuff that other people are going to enjoy as well. So yeah, the feedback's been wonderful on these torsos, and we haven't even shown the last one yet, Walter. This is the one that I think people are going to be super excited for. This is a totally new kind of piece. This adds a totally new kind of custom idea to Mythic Legions, this 4-armed torso. Tell us a little bit about this thing.
This was inspired by characters like the Martian race in John Carter of Mars. Or characters like Goro or Kintaro from Mortal Kombat, a 4-armed character, a Savage Warrior. He can hold shields with the lower arms and swords or axes with the upper arms. I don't know. He's a Savage Warrior.
So for everyone watching, and people are saying, wow, this looks awesome, love the gashes. Before we went live, for everybody here, when we were kind of, doing our own little private chat, getting ready to go live, this was a piece that I brought up, and you saw Emil. And Emil, you had not seen it before today, and you were immediately blown away, right?
Yeah, I thought I was a part of this team, but now I know I don't get to see anything. Thanks. But it's really great.
Some surprises back for you.
Of course.
I didn't see it till now either, and it's amazing.
Well, yeah. Stephen, you and Emil are one person, so if Emil doesn't see it, I'm just by proxy assuming you didn't either. Awesome. Yeah, this is cool, Walter, and this is one of the things that I really, really love about this hobby. And what all of the creators are doing, even Wolf King, and outside of that as well, Von Burke and Planetary Dog Toys, what everyone is doing here, it's so cool that they're bringing in pieces that are really going to make us, they're going to allow us as customizers to create totally new kinds of characters that we have no representation of. I mean, we don't have any 4-armed characters in Mythic Legions. I mean, I've done it a few times where I've actually drilled holes in the sides of a body to make 4-armed characters. I actually did it with the Mantis head, Len, that we showed earlier. Yeah. That Mantis head, to me, when I first saw that, it really looked like an old school D&D race called a Thri-kreen. And these Mantis-like warriors have 4 arms. So I've done that with a 2.0 torso by drilling holes. I know some people use the back adapter with a skeleton to do a 4-arm skeleton. But Walter, the fact that you took that step to really make a piece here with 4 ports for the arms, that's really, really fun.
Thank you.
I see somebody in the comments is asking which scale this is.
So yeah, they're saying, is this 1.0 size, or is this also going to be sized for an ogre?
1.0, but 0.0, but we can talk with Len and see if can make variants.
That's one of the great things about digital. I mean, and it blows me away that you guys can, create these things digitally, and then by working with Len, you can figure out a way to use these parts in different ways, to add small changes to them, to change the size up. It absolutely blows me away. It's an incredible thing to see both, the sculptors like Walter and Emil work with Len on the print side, and Len does sculpting as well. So he's in there working on these pieces, creating pieces of his own. As the person that's just lucky enough to paint them, I'm absolutely fascinated.
Yes, it is true. Yes.
So the last piece we have, Walter, to show for you is one you worked out a little while ago. This is a piece I think is really cool because I feel like the Fae characters, the elves, don't get a ton of love from the 3D creators. Outside of probably Saba and Julie from Planetary Dog, they've done a number of, more elven type characters. But I don't see a lot besides that. So this was one that you did recently, and now this is actually going to be available in the January sale. This is what is called a wood elf, and he's got a really cool, he's legitimately a wood elf, like he's made of wood. His skin looks like it's made of bark. Talk to us a little bit about this awesome piece.
Yes, he's made of wood. He's like an elemental force, not skin and flesh. He's made of wood, and he has mushrooms in his hair, and some kind of leaves and roots, etc.
Nice.
So many small details there. I'm looking at the back of that head, and I'm seeing the leaves and the mushrooms and almost like berries and stuff. And once again, Stephen, as a painter, are you looking at this and seeing all those little details and just wondering how you could add all those little details, paint to all those details?
Yeah, that looks like a painter's dream. That looks like it's a ton of fun. And yeah, I was actually imagining what color would I paint those little mushroom looking things. And as we're staring at it, it looks like a very fun piece.
Sorry, this was your idea, Len. I forget to.
Was it?
Len. I think I don't. I give you the credit. I don't remember. But no, I give you the credit. I think that you tell me some idea.
I probably did, or Jeremy might have too, because we really like the elves, and I think we wanted to see more of them.
Yeah, I think, Len, we were talking about it, and and this was actually, Walter, when you came to Wolf King, you came kind of through the projects that you worked on with me, the Kitsune heads, and then the Badgerines and so forth. But as I said earlier, you were already sculpting. You were doing stuff for Shape, that you were selling at Shapeways. So you had some really, really cool stuff. And I remember Len reaching out to you and saying like, hey, would you like to start doing some of your original stuff as well? Which certainly now you've started doing that, which has been awesome. The demon was just sold, recently in the Monstrous October sale. We're looking at these torsos now. But when Len was talking to me, he had mentioned, hey, Walter's asking like what kind of projects we think would be really cool for the store. And I was thinking about an elf. And I do remember Len us talking and me saying like, hey, let's do a wood elf, but let's be literal about it. Like instead of it being like an elf that lives in the woods, let's do an elf that's literally like made of wood. And the fact that Walter took it and made like a tree elemental, like a forest elemental type character out of it, that looks great. This is going to fit in, right now, the Alithia wave that's available for pre-order with Xylona's Flock. You throw this on like a Lord Adon body, this is going to fit in perfectly with those figures.
Absolutely.
I just got to point out, I love how the the design in his head is like it's symmetrical, but it's not symmetrical. Like it's symmetrical enough to show a design in there, but it's not, you look at the left and the right, it's not a copy or a flip. It's different sculpt on each side.
Yes. In that point, the symmetry helps, but you must break that symmetry in some areas.
Yeah, I mean, people are loving it. They're saying, Nate Strong saying that's so awesome. Love the idea. He looks incredible. Joe Vassapolo, love the Wood Elf. Love the Wood Elf. Daniel Douglas saying that he'll be an elemental that Faunus has conjured. Yeah, a lot of people loving him with Faunus. Yeah, people really, really digging this. And the fact that people are saying, Justin Johnson saying, I never would have expected this one. That's what I think is really exciting about Team Wolf King here as well is, Len, you've made it a point to gather different people that have different types of projects they're into. It's no secret that I love my critters. I love my foxes and my badgers and so forth. Emil's not sitting there clamoring to sculpt any critters. That I think is really important. We all have different things that we really, really like, and we bring all of that to Team Wolf King. And the end result is a really, really diverse product selection.
Yes, of course.
So with that, Walter, thank you so much. People are absolutely loving the stuff that you had to show, but we're not done yet. We've got a lot more. So I'm just going to keep this thing rolling. Len, did you have something?
A comment before? Yeah, just before we move off of.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I see a lot in the chat about people, asking about the ogre scale for the forearms.
Yep.
And I'm getting PMs from some people. They're sending me stuff asking like on the side, and everyone's looking for it. And I'll tell all you guys for the first time here that Monday we got a new printer coming in. I'm going to break in, and it's a monster. So it might be the perfect type of project. That's all I'm going to say.
Very cool.
That is
congratulations.
Perfect to hear, Len. Okay, so I'm going to keep this thing rolling. It is now 3:20, and we've still got, honestly, a ton of reveals to do. So I think it's a great segue, Walter. We just looked at your stuff, and I've mentioned a few times that you're the sculptor that I've worked with for literally every project that I've been able to bring to Wolf King. So we're going to look at my projects next, if you guys wouldn't mind indulging me for a few. And let's start here. We're going to see some critters, just warning everybody. So the first things that I'm going to look at are some characters that we've actually already seen. If you check out my Mythic Customs show on Wednesdays, we've already seen the Akupara Turtles. So this particular character, this snapping turtle with this giant hook weapon, very kind of Polynesian inspired hook weapon and these turtle feet. This was something that, Len, we were going to do this in September? The sneak peek sale was September, right? Yeah. Yep. So originally we were going to do a really small sale in September because we already had October for all the monsters planned. We knew that was going to be a big one. And the artist sale that was in August was another monster sale. So September was just going to be a small offering, a handful of items. It was going to be the turtle, actually a couple of the God's Fire Templars or at least one of the God's Fire Templars from Emil and Stephen that eventually got released in October. That was originally going to be planned. And Len, the frog, the Lockwoggles, which still don't have a release date, those were planned as well, correct?
Right, correct.
So we ended up deciding to hold off on that sale because, we're kind of talking to people today about some of the behind the scenes stuff that happens. We understand, all of us, we're collectors as well. We understand that there's only so much money to go around. These sales hit the wallet. We get that. Going back to September, the Big Bad Toy Store orders had just hit. The Exodus sale had just happened, and we knew that people were just flat out blitzed, and we didn't want people to have to feel like they had missed out. They had to skip a sale. So we decided to hold off and kind of push those pieces to future sales. And I'm happy to say that the Akupara Turtles, that's the race that I call these turtle characters, they're going to be available in that January 23rd sale.
Nice.
And we're going to have a couple pieces. So we've seen this head before, this kind of like snapping turtle head. He's kind of the evil character, the storyline that I wrote for it. I imagine this race, this Akupara turtle race, as, you know, they start and they grow out of their shells. They put these suits of armor on, but they wear their shells strapped to their backs. It's like a symbol of honor. And, you know, any Akupara turtle that doesn't have his shell, like if he's been disgraced, his shell is removed and destroyed. So an Akupara turtle that doesn't have his shell is one who has been, you know, disgraced in some way. And I kind of wrote that into the story. So if someone doesn't have a turtle shell to use, they can still have an Akupara, and it still follows kind of the canon that at least I've tried to create for it. But we're going to get this head, and like all Wolf King sales, it's going to be available unpainted, and I am going to paint a run of these as well. We're also going to get this super cool hook weapon. Again, very Polynesian inspired. And, you know, Walter, like I said, Walter worked on all of these pieces for me. Everything you're going to see from my reveals today were worked on with Walter DeMarco of Mass Customs. So we're going to get the head, this hook weapon. We're also going to get these turtle feet. Now, these turtle feet, I think, are so much fun. Don't sleep on these. You know, the wolf feet that we just did, or the woven wolf feet, they were huge sellers for Wolf King. I think a lot of people are going to use them in a variety of customs, not only with the wolf heads, but maybe on other kind of monsters. And I can see people doing that with these as well, even if they're not going to necessarily get, you know, the whole set of the Akupara pieces. Even using these on some other figures like a Bog Goblin, I think it looks really, really cool. And it adds something to that figure that accentuates it beyond how it comes out of the package already. I really, really think that this looks good on that figure. It also looks great with some of Planetary Dog Toys. They have some really cool dragon-like heads. I'm going to use these on those dragon characters as well. Those like Draconians.
Cool.
Yeah.
So in addition to these parts, that's kind of the evil turtle. We're also going to get this character here. So I imagined that evil character being kind of an upstart, that snapping turtle who is trying to overthrow, trying to claim the rule of this race, this Akupara, and the character he's going to be fighting, the good character, is this creation here that I wanted to look more like an ancient character, like kind of like a tortoise. So this head, it has a very old look to it, very ancient type look. That's what I really wanted Walter to capture. And I sent him, you know, some photos of actual turtles, like an actual tortoise. And I said, this is what I'm going for. And Walter, you absolutely captured this, the look of this character perfectly.
Very nice.
I was almost picturing like a kind of like a Master Yoda type look for this character here.
For sure.
And one thing I will point out is, you know, this figure here, this is on a 2.0 body. Len, you talked about how much you like the Thump bodies. This is Thump as well. So while this is on a Thump body, you know, obviously that first one I showed, that is on a Gonks body. So that is on a 1.0 style, a dwarf style body. So these pieces, both the feet are not sized differently. They're one size feet and they work for both of them. Even on the 2.0 type body, the feet look a little oversized, but I think that they fit in with the character. And this is the last piece that we're going to be getting from that line in January. This is the sword that was created for the heroic Akupara. And you can see it's got, again, a very Polynesian feel, lots of like shark teeth that are like, you know, tied in with cord or whatever to this wooden handle. Like all of Walter's pieces, an absolute dream to paint. Tons of details. Really great stuff, and you get them together and you can create together as a group. I think these two characters look really fun, you know, as a pair. People are saying they forgot about these. They're absolutely awesome. Yeah, like I said, these were shown quite some time ago. I'm super excited to finally get them out. And there's actually a few pieces for everything that we're going to be seeing here. 2 different heads, 2 different weapons, plus the feet. There's actually some other parts that are still being held back. There's a couple other weapons and some pieces to change them up a little bit. There's actually some helmets for the evil turtle. I was imagining the evil turtle having some henchmen. So down the road, there will also be some additional pieces that you can add on to these to differentiate them even further. So super excited. That is going to be available in January. Once again, Walter, thank you so much for working with me on that.
Thank you. Very cool experience.
Now, the next thing that I want to show, I keep talking about how much I love my critters, but someone challenged me and they said, hey, what about a series that aren't critters? Like, what would you create if you weren't working on actual critters? So I thought about that and I said, I'm going to do something. I want to work on a project that's not an animal. So I was thinking about what would be fun to work on. And I've told the story a few times that the first customs I ever really did, the first Mythic Legions custom was a genie. So it was a blue skin genie. When I first saw the name Zazar revealed, I thought it was going to be a genie. So I got that in my head. I made a genie out of Zazar by taking an Urzak head and painting it blue. I always wanted something that was more of a genie. So that was the next project. I've talked about this on Mythic Conversations. This is going to be the first time that anyone has seen any of these genie parts. Let me check these out. So, Walter, we're only going to show a few of the pieces that we have for this line, this series, but we're going to start right here with this genie. So this is kind of the main genie character. And this, again, is going to be on a 1.0 style body. I imagine this going on, say, like a Zazar body. And this is going to be available early in 2021 because, again, we know that we want customizers to have access to good bodies to use. So the All-Stars 3 wave that should be arriving literally very soon, that is going to have Zazar in it. It's going to make that blue skin demon a lot more readily available. So we want people to be able to use this head, paint it blue, or buy it painted already and use it on that Zazar body. Obviously, it's got a very genie-like look, but this could also totally be used as an orc, I think. Emil, what do you think? Could you totally see this as an orc as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I can see it as an orc, and I can see it fit in my shelf. For sure.
Really dig this. I just mentioned that this would be used with the Zazar body. Well, the big problem with Zazar is Zazar comes with hooves. So when I was talking to Walter, I said, well, if we're going to make a head to put on the Zazar body, we've got to address the fact that we've got to replace the feet. So we did this as well. Some classic genie style curled shoes that you could use this to replace those hooved feet. And then you could just with those 2 pieces totally transform that demon into a really cool genie type character. Very cool. People are saying they're enjoying that. Drew's actually mentioning that it looks like a half orc to him. That's very cool as well. So those are 2 pieces. And again, I really like that head because it's I could see people using it in a couple different ways. I could see them using it as an orc, but I didn't only want that look. When I imagine a genie, I do imagine the head being more wrapped. So we took this exact same character and we gave him a secondary look. In addition to the plane, we've also got a look where he's got a full kind of like, turban on, where imagining he was maybe in the deserts, maybe he just came out of his lamp or whatever, he's traveling. I really like this look as well. I think that this is going to be a really fun piece for people to put on that same Zazar body to create a different looking type Jin. Or maybe use this again as an orc to create some kind of cool, Middle Eastern style orc or something. What do you think, Stephen? What do you like? What do you think about this guy?
It's extremely creative. It's nothing that I would have ever thought up, and that's always fun to see when you get to kind of, we're peeking inside your brain right now. So, I'm not really. I mean, when you say you want to make a genie custom, I don't feel that interested. But now that you show me the pieces, I'm like, wow, this really could be fun. Yeah. So, hats off. It's pretty cool.
Thank you very much. And I can imagine this too. I keep saying the Zazar body. I imagine genies, and you can do whatever color you want. I've done purple ones using the Purplor body. So you could totally paint this purple. You could paint this, black if you want to put this on the Taurian body, the Minotaur that's going to be coming out. You could paint this red and make it more like an Ifrit and put it on the red Furyork body. I think all of those would work. One thing that I'm really excited about with this is, remember, I'm a customizer, I'm a painter. So when I look at a piece like this, I'm immediately thinking, wow, that's going to be a pain in the ass to paint that turban and that head and not get some of that paint bleed. So this is actually how that head is going to come. That head is actually two pieces. The face plate is going to be separate. So you're going to be able to paint that turban totally separately, paint the face totally separately, so you don't have to worry about those two parts touching during the painting process. And then you'll be able to attach them together with a tiny bit of glue, and you'll have a really nice, clean painting experience. I think painters are going to appreciate that.
Yeah, that was a smart move.
Emil, what did you say?
Yeah, that was a smart move to do it like this, really.
Well, I think about some of the parts that actually, the Four Horsemen put out, and, those heads that are glued in, like the hoods, for instance, they're not meant to come out of those hoods, but we pull them out all the time.
Yeah.
And whenever I've painted those hoods, I pull the head out so I can paint the hood without having to deal with that head. So I think that's really important. I thought that made a lot of sense to do that as a separate piece. Right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Very cool. People liking that. Von Creep, Chris saying he loves the two-part idea. Thank you very much, man. Again, looking out for you, looking out for the customizers, knowing that can be a challenge. So, got a couple more pieces left to show you what we've been working on. Now, I can't totally get away from my critters. I do got to show some more critters. The next line of critters that I was working on, I really wanted rabbits. Okay, a bunch of people have requested rabbits. What are you laughing at, Stephen?
Well, I mean, I think it's hilarious. I'm glad you like your little creatures and your little pets, and I hope we get mice and a Cinderella soon.
A bunch of people have been asking for mice, including Len. And because, Len's the Wolf King, he's the one that gets to tell us what to do. So I got to listen to him.
He's the boss.
Before we get there, we're going to get some rabbits. So these are going to be out at some point in 2021. Not sure exactly where they're going to fit in yet, but these are the first pieces that you're going to be seeing from the line of rabbits that I'm going to be doing. Again, Walter worked on these with me. We're going to have a couple different characters. So this is the hero rabbit. So I wanted, a hero. I wanted a sidekick. I wanted a villain. We created a few different characters. We're only going to look at one today, and that's the hero here. I have some people here. First, response is, they're referring to Usagi Yojimbo, which is the samurai type rabbit. Very, very popular. Was a character in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at one point as well. They did a crossover. I know a lot of people are going to use this character as Usagi. I didn't want to make this exactly like that character. If you're familiar with that character, he's a samurai bunny, and he's kind of got his ears that stick straight up, and he's got like a tie around them, around the bend. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, he's got a tie around the ears himself. And I didn't want to do that. I felt that, I don't just want to do a 3D sculpt of an existing character. It's really important that these things are original. To be totally honest, I don't imagine this character as a samurai. I imagine this character more as a ranger. So when I build it out, it's going to be a ranger type character, even though I know a lot of people are going to use it as a samurai. Now, to help those people, I did want to give them an option. So there is an alternate look for this head, but not wanting to do the Usagi style where the ear sticks straight up. We instead went with this look. So we instead took the ears and tied them into like a samurai style bun. To me, that is something where people will still be able to use this as a really cool samurai rabbit without it being a blatant ripoff of someone else's character. That was at least my thought process. And Walter, we talked about that, right? When I gave you the feedback and I showed you what I wanted, we specifically talked about we don't want to copy that existing character.
Yes.
Now, in addition to this, there's a part that we've actually already seen. So the straw hat that we just sold on Wolf King Custom as part of the in-stock sale, that was actually originally created for this set. These are some early renders that Walter sent me during the process. You can see that a lot of the detail are not there on the Hero Rabbit yet, but you can see that that straw hat was originally created for this particular figure. So very, very cool. I'm super excited about that, about the samurai look to the rabbit, about the regular look to the rabbit. Really, really looking forward to that. And like I said, I can't, Stephen, you laugh at me all you want. I can't get away from my critters.
You be you, man. That's why we love you.
I gotta do it. I gotta do it. The last thing I will mention is not something to show. It was just something to mention. I've talked about the Kitsune pieces. Those are pieces that are near and dear to my heart. I don't have anything to show, but I will tell everybody that when I first created those, I didn't imagine them as a series. I imagined it as one character. Again, it was created just for me. But because it's become so popular, Walter and I are working right now on a whole series 2 for the Kitsune, a whole bunch of new characters. So if you like the Fox characters, there's going to be some really cool additions to that theme coming in 2021.
As well as a comic book and a cartoon.
Hey, the sky's the limit. Anyone that wants to do that, I'm super excited. Super excited.
Awesome.
Lots of good feedback. Everyone's saying they love the Hero Rabbit. Series 2 Kitsune. Yeah, there's going to be multiple new characters that fit into that world. I honestly cannot wait. That is some of the stuff that I'm most excited that we're working on. But we're wrapping this up. We've got one more set of reveals to go. And I got to tell you, we saved some of the biggest reveals for last. So Emil and Stephen, you guys have been working on some really, really cool stuff. Tell us a little bit, I guess, about how you guys have been working together. Like, how did this start?
Stephen, welcome to start.
God, this is always so hard for me. Because it's me and Emil talk so regularly now that to think back through it's very. It was the God's Fire. It was the Templar heads. I think Len told me take these to Emil and see what he says, which I did. And of course, Emil was like, "Well, this is the best. This is what I've been waiting for all my life." And I think it started right there. And I think we started working on those until I got comfortable enough to actually show him some art designs or a design of a head that I thought up all on my own. And I'm like, I really would like to see this happen. And he was gracious enough to say, yeah, let's do this. And ever since then, we've just been bouncing ideas off each other pretty much daily.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm not asking him questions about Sweden.
Well, we've already seen a number of pieces that your collaboration has put out. We're going to see more today. But first, Emil, before we get into some of the more fleshed out stuff, we do have a couple pieces that are available more as a render right now. So we're going to look at some of those, and we're going to start with a piece that is going to be available in the coming January sale. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I clicked the wrong one by accident.
We didn't see anything.
I jumped to the wrong one. So we're going to see a momentary flash, and then it's going to be like, boom, momentary flash, boom, boom, boom. There we go. Pretend that we didn't see those. We're going to look at this. So Emil, this young dwarf is going to be available in the January sale. Tell us a little bit about this piece here.
Yeah, this was actually this summer. It was made this summer. Among the first heads that I did when Len and I had started to talk, and it's like we did. I mean, we have multiple dwarves in done, but we're not going to reveal everything. I mean, there's so many things that we're not going to reveal today. But this is one of the things that Len told me. Well, we need a young dwarf. Old dwarfs are long beards and very old, and we need a young one. So this is the one I did. And remember, thank you. When I started with Wolf King and started to talk to Len, I had never sculpted a dwarf. But of course, there are a lot of things that's the first time to sculpt. And this turned out quite satisfying. Not sure what else to say about it. I know we had you have an earlier version of this head.
I do.
When it was announced that it was going to go up for sale in January, I punched out some more details because that's something that I've learned since this summer, that the details are not enough. And yeah,
it's funny because when Len sent me that first sample and he called it a young dwarf, and I can absolutely see how some people would use it as a young dwarf. I actually really saw it as a ranger type character. It very much had a feel of like Aragorn from Lord of the Rings to me. So the custom that I did, I actually used that head. And earlier when we actually showed the painted pictures of the backpack, it was actually on my ranger custom. So this head, you didn't see the head, from the front in those pictures, but that's actually what we were looking at. So again, I love the versatility. I can see it as a dwarf. I can see it as, putting it on, a 1.0 full-size body and using it as a ranger. Really, really cool piece. Love the details. Like you said, I painted an early version and I loved it. So I can't wait to get my hands on one of these fully detailed ones.
Yeah, funny detail about this one is when you're sculpting and you have multiple heads, you're working on multiple heads at the same time. I had multiple layers of hair for different sculpts and different heads, and then just by accident I selected this hair with that face and beard, and then said, I want that.
That's good.
So then the other guy he got another haircut instead.
So Len, this is January along with that backpack, right?
Correct. January 23rd. Yeah, I love this one. The minute the first time I saw it, I loved it. I loved it more after the first print. Sometimes that happens, and man, I fell in love with it. And I know you did too, Jeremy. As soon as I sent you that print, you were really into it too, and it's just fun. I felt like the world needed a young dwarf or a short beard.
And it's funny. I should point out that Emil, you said that you had never sculpted a dwarf. And in true Emil fashion, you went from not sculpting a dwarf to like immediately sculpting like so many dwarves all at once. You literally just went crazy because all of the dwarves that we've seen now that Wolf King has put out, the happy dwarf, the monocle dwarf, the more stoic dwarf, you did all of those all at once. You went from, hey, I'm going to try sculpting dwarves to just full steam ahead.
But I mean, this last year, it has been super exciting to me because I mean, I started sculpting in 3D 1 year ago. But I mean, I've always used a pen and paper. So it's not like the creative process has always been there. But
Yep.
1 year ago, it was like, it really was a dream come true. I mean, anyone can start to sculpt in 3D, but it just hadn't ever been the time for me to start. So getting a chance to do a sculpted head, it's like, I love this. I mean, I genuinely love sitting down and just sculpting. It's fantastic. So there are so many new things to learn, of course, technically, but also, well, I always loved monsters, always monsters, and now I'm doing dwarfs and God's Fire. That's, I mean, so I have more monsters that needs to come out.
And we're going to talk about God's Fire in a few minutes. Let's go next to a piece that I know that you were working on very, very recently. Yeah. And this is actually a torso that uses, in this render at least, one of your other heads, your Goblin Tinker head. Talk to us about this little torso you've got going on.
Yeah, I've done heads, but I've been wanting to do shoulder pauldrons and torsos and things like that because, well, I want to try everything. And me and Stephen has, well, we have a Goblin team in the making. I'm not going to say more about that now. Stephen will tell us a little bit more later, but I wanted to see bare torsos, not just with armors. I see these skinny little guys, not just with armors, but like skinny evil critter guys. So this is a first try. We haven't printed this yet. So I'm in the process of learning to do torsos, and it's fun as well.
Yeah, and that's cool.
Let me show you something here.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's cool. I mean, obviously, we're seeing some stuff here that's already painted, where it's been printed, it's been painted, it's ready to go. It's going to be available next month. There's other stuff that I think it's really fun that is early stage. We're going to look in a few minutes actually at some concept art that Stephen put together that's really, really early stage, really to kind of give everyone watching a sense of all the different steps that go through this, because there is a lot that goes in behind the scenes before all of us customizers can enjoy them, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Great.
Awesome. Well, I said we've got a big reveal next, and we sure as hell do. So the next one, Emil, I'm going to share a little video that you sent me, if you don't mind. You ready for this?
Ready.
Okay. Let's go full screen on this guy here.
There we go.
There we go.
It will be uploaded on my YouTube as well, so we can see it in.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I know the audio only sounds so good during this broadcast, so Emil will get that posted. But Emil, tell us what we're looking at here. We're looking at these new pieces that you worked on, which will be available. What do we got?
Oh, like I said, I love me some monsters. Okay. So after having done the ogre head, I really wanted to do more, and so then I went a little bananas. I wanted to do this big ogre-sized demon with lots of teeth and horns and all the things that I could fit into it. And I'm just enjoying sculpting this. I mean, I probably could have spent a lot more time because it's just so fun to add teeth and stuff. Yeah. And then once I had it printed, or in the computer, I realized I needed something to bulk him up. I mean, so these shoulder pauldrons these are my first shoulder pauldrons, and of course they're meant to not be clean knight pauldrons. Yeah, it's a monster.
Now, Len, a little while ago, you mentioned that you just bought a new, larger printer. You bought that printer because of this head, didn't you?
Yeah, more or less, definitely.
I mean, this thing is a beast. Emil, I know you've shown this, like, in an early render. I know that actually an email got sent out a while back that had a teaser of it. By the way, if you're not subscribed to Wolf King Customs emails, do that, because pretty much every email that he sends has these little teasers in them. But this thing is absolutely incredible, Emil. Seeing this thing fully painted, what body did you use in this custom to make it like this demon?
Archimedes body.
Okay, so you painted it to the red.
Yeah, but I mean, I know that most don't prefer to do to paint all the bodies. Okay, to just paint the heads. Me, well, maybe I'm not good at color matching, or I haven't tried it. I mean, I want to do the whole body. And like I've said so many times before, it's just fun. It's just fun to play with this. I mean, this line has taken me into customizing, and I'm never getting out of this. It's because it's so fun.
Stephen, looking at this head and those pauldrons, are you thinking what I'm thinking, that this is going to be wonderful on that Shadow Equidron body?
Oh yeah, that could be awesome.
It's already got the hooves. I mean, because this is so demonic looking. Putting it with that hooved ogre scale body, perfect.
Yeah, it's amazing, and from top to bottom, the paintwork is amazing too. I don't believe Emil for a second when he says he can't match color, because I'm pretty sure he can pretty much pull a rabbit out of his hat anytime he needs to. So,
oh yeah. I mean, this picture here, seeing all the details in that face and those gums and the teeth, absolutely unbelievable. And the horns, just amazing. Chris is asking, how expensive are these? I know this part, the ogre scale head that was done previously was $20 unpainted. This one hasn't been printed yet. It's presumably going to be a little more because of the size, but all of that will be revealed. This hasn't even been, fully printed in order to be ready for sale yet. These are still prototype prints, correct?
Yeah, these are the prints. I mean, I finally found a guy here in Sweden who could print and get me these heads within 48 hours, so I could test them and see how they fit and everything.
Good. Yep.
So
absolutely amazing.
It was really fun. I mean, this was the first head that I revealed, and it was missing the teeth here in the cheek and the side. So this is some more fun. This is my baby. At least my wife has asked me to not put it in a way so we see it when we're watching TV. So I'm trying to hide it a little bit, but I want to see it as well. So it's yeah, that's the demon.
Okay, so what we're going to turn to now, and this is really going to be the last set of reveals that we have for the holiday special, are around your God's Fire series. So this series of Templars that was the collaboration between Stephen and Emil has proven super, super popular with fans, which is crazy because it's just getting started. Like, you guys, honestly, seeing the stuff behind the scenes, you honestly started with two really important characters that, in my opinion, visually are the least interesting of the group. They're really, really cool. If you want a standard looking character on a Templar body, they're wonderful for that. But then when I saw what you had coming, I was like, unbelievable. And I know you've shown a few of these already. So let's look at these again, because I know that these two pieces here, these two new God's Templar pieces, these are going to be available in that January sale. Let's first start with the Faithless.
And just a small detail, there will be a tiny detail that's changed from this one for the version that will be on sale in January. Just so I've said it. Okay. Stephen, take it away.
Oh, the Faithless. The Faithless is it was a fun character. We did two Templars, the believer and the judge, and we this guy started. I've said this before. I think we were calling him we were going to make him younger originally, and Emil sculpted him, and we just didn't have he didn't have the hood, and he was very he just didn't stand out from the other figures enough. And then somewhere along in our texts back and forth, we were like, hey, let's put a hood on him, and he put a hood on him, and that made him just super cool, I think. Love what Emil did with him. He looks amazing. We were not trying to go for a Assassin's Creed look, but the white hood just looks the best. So there we go. Great fun character.
I love this piece. And again, talking about versatility, guys, I think this works wonderfully as the character you've created on a Templar body. I can also see people using this as a ranger. I can see them using it as a thief. I can see them using it as a monk. I think that this has a lot of versatility within that one sculpture.
And that's important, because I mean, we're presenting our story. That's how we're playing with it. But I mean, it's important that everyone do what they want with everything. I mean, that's the fun part of all of this. But as part of doing them, we're creating this group and these stories, because that's how we are having fun with it. So no one needs to listen to the stories and do what we have planned for the characters. Just do you and have fun. So I can see this as a Robin Hood, actually, or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We do have a question. People are talking about they love these. They love the Knights in Medieval. Someone asking, they hope that we ship to the European Union. Absolutely. Wolf King has worldwide shipping, so no problems there at all. So the second character that you showed at Legion's Con, which you can kind of see in the background a little bit here, is the Redeemer. The Redeemer will also be available in the January sale. And Stephen, I know you're going to talk about this character, but just to point this out, you will be painting versions of these for the sale as well, correct?
As long as the boss says it's okay.
I believe he did. As always, if you're new to Wolf King, painted pieces on almost everything are always available, but they are also limited. There's only so much that can be done. So if you are catching this, you're seeing any cool stuff that you want painted, I always suggest get in there early so you don't get left out. But Stephen, go back to you. Tell us about the Redeemer.
The Redeemer, I can't take a whole lot of credit for this character except for, I think, the name and the story. The look of him is Emil. He's really cool. He's got the character we created, our way of playing with him is he's got some powers. He's blind, but when he gets a judgment laid down for him by the character, the judge, he carries out that judgment or that sentence with sight restored and great unearthly powers. So he's a force to be reckoned with. The look, I guess I pass that off to Emil. What was the inspiration for this?
Well, I mean, I seriously, from the first head I did with this group, I didn't want them all to look Caucasian. That's basically it. I want them in all different races to be represented. To me, that's super important because I think that's cool, because it doesn't make sense that that's what I like with new fantasy series, actually. In old fantasy series, everyone's like, yeah, I'm a European guy. And it's like, it's stupid. So that's why what I love with old new series. So that was something that I've started. I started the sculpt, but then when we created this character, I continued working on this sculpt with another goal in mind, to have it as the Redeemer. And I learned a lot of new things doing this one as well. Oh, and I talked to Sebadom about things on it, and I explained to him the bad things I've done with it, and he was very encouraging and also laughed a little, I think. He's a super, super great guy, really.
Yeah, I mean, Walter's already talked about the help that he gave him early on.
Buy all his stuff. I mean, he and Julie are super awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just placed an order for their shop. Just opened yesterday, actually. And I just placed an order, or I think it's Friday, but I just placed an order yesterday. Super excited to get that. PlanetaryDogToys.com. Can't say enough about their work and the people behind it. Again, I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to go back to versatility. I can see people using this as, with the Calavius gladiator type body. I think it works wonderfully with that. I can see it using it, as an alternative for Otho. People that can't buy an Otho, that want to do kind of their own version of Otho, I could see them doing that. Other kinds of knights, other kinds of rangers. I think it works across the board. You guys have created characters that I think work so wonderfully well within your mythology, but have a lot of white space that people can use to create other things, which, let's be honest, that is the spirit of Mythic Legions. Yeah. That is one of the things I'm most excited about for everything we're seeing from Wolf King, is the versatility behind them and the spirit of Mythic Legions that all of these artists are bringing to these particular projects.
Yeah, just imagine when we started talking about what a Templar is. I mean, how all of us, we just saw totally different things when we mentioned the word Templar.
Yep.
From really awesome good guys to pricks, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I know that in my own mythology, I almost imagine my Templars are as more like witchfinders. They're kind of like bad characters. So, I use them that way. Other people, I mean, there are people that love the Templars, and that's their thing. So very, very cool. And one thing I do want to show really quick, just before we move on to the last reveals, is this group shot of the Redeemer, the Faithless, along with the Judge and the Believer. The Judge and the Believer, they were available in the October sale. I know some people who may have missed out who want to get them. There are going to be, I believe, at least unpainted versions of those heads available in January as well, to go along with these other two. So that's very cool. I know a few people have asked for a re-release of those. They were not part of the in-stock sale recently. They will be part of the January sale.
Yes. So just one thing, we decided from the start, the God's Fire group is going to be 5 guys.
Okay.
Yep. Right, Stephen?
Yes. 5 guys. It's kind of in even in Emil's art with the God's Fire logo. There's 5 rings there, or circles. I assume that was for a reason. But yeah, so there's the 5th guy, and I am super excited for everybody to see the 5th guy. This one,
no one has seen this, right, Stephen? The 5th guy that we're about to look at, the 5th member of God's Fire, this has never been revealed anywhere.
Never been revealed anywhere. This will be the last member of the God's Fire team. the story of this guy is going to be different. He joins the team a little later. These other four worked together for a while before this guy came on the scene, but he's new, and I don't know. I think we should just show him and then talk about him. What do you think?
Go for it.
Here it is. What is the name of this character, Stephen?
This is the Fallen. This is the Fallen, and I remember early on we discussed a removable mask, and that was the way. We discussed a dual character, a guy that has very, very good qualities, and then very evil. And Emil captured that wonderfully, because if you look at the way his helmet is sculpted, his helmet itself looks very angelic and grand, yet his faceplate is just scary. So that was basically the earliest thing. And as Emil was talking about diversity, we originally were going to make this we were going to make this of an Asian descent guy.
Okay.
But we're going to save that for something else. So that's very cool.
Now, Emil, I just point out that all these photos that we are seeing here, not only did you do the sculptures on these are all your paints. You have painted all these prototypes and taken these photos.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I don't have these. I don't have the prototypes to paint. So the only way we were going to get painted pictures for this is if Emil painted them, and I'm glad he did, because he's amazing.
And this is actually the first heads, that I get before Stephen.
Yes, it is. It's pretty hard. It's very hard for me to be the lead tester when I can't get the heads first, but
I love the details on this. And you just mentioned that removable faceplate. Let's actually look at that. You want to see what this guy looks like underneath that mask? Check that out. That is so cool, guys. I love this.
Now, the story goes with this guy is he was a young man in love, and his love got taken by the villain in his eyes. And even though he had been previously a great man, he fell into the cycles of revenge and became a very evil warrior. But then that's why he's the Fallen. At some point, he picks up the mantle to try to be good, but and that's how he walks around with his face being shown in the very angelic style helmet. One of the things that Emil's gonna sculpt, and the gimmick behind this guy is he will have a shoulder pauldron that the faceplate with the skull attaches to, so he carries that with him. When this dude needs to berserk out or rage out, he takes the skull and puts it on his face and goes nuts.
That's awesome. The fact that you're thinking through that you're saying like, hey, let's do a removable mask, but let's just not have it be a piece that people are just going to put on the floor of their Detolf case next to the figure. We're going to actually integrate it into the figure's design. That's super, super cool.
Yeah, that's fun to test new things as well.
Yeah. Love this guy. This absolutely amazing. This is the one that when you sent these pictures to me, Emil, I was absolutely floored with the quality of the paints, all of the details in that helmet. Again, I've said this multiple times, Stephen, but all of those details as a painter, having fun. Wow.
Yeah, and of course, I've only, even though I've done arts in my whole life, I've sculpted for a year. So I personally feel that every new head, of course, you learn new things that you use, and so for me personally, every new head sculpt is a new experience, because I see for myself that I've learned something new. And I enjoy that process as well. And I hope others will enjoy it as well. because this is my favorite Templar head by far.
I think I have to agree. I really liked the Faithless with the hood, and then I saw this guy and was absolutely, again, blown away.
But this will not be in the January sale.
He will not be in the January sale. That's correct. Yeah, it's worth mentioning that. I don't want to disappoint everybody. Now, Stephen, you mentioned the bad guy, the villain of this story. And I happen to know that the next character we're going to look at, and this is the last full character reveal we have, but this particular character here, this was the first project that you worked on with Emil. Is that correct?
It was. I think he was doing this the same time he was sculpting the faith, the judge and the believer. I think, weren't you?
So, yeah.
And he sculpted it, and he did an amazing job. But we didn't, for whatever reason, get that head squared away like we wanted to put it for sale. And so we kind of sat on that head for a long time. I do have painted prototypes of that head. But as Emil's skills keep growing at like an astronomical level, like every time he wakes up, he doubles his powers. He's gotten so much better now that he decided as well, we need to go back to the drawing board and redo this.
Okay, and let's look at this guy. This is, what's this character's name?
Dragon Warrior.
Dragon Warrior. Let's look at this character next. And Stephen, take us home. Tell us about this character that we're looking at.
So you go back to the story of the Fallen. Well, this is the guy that took the Fallen's girl. This is what made him go down the road of revenge. And he was only described to the Fallen as the man with the dragon mask. So he's looking for this guy because he wants revenge, because he believes he took and killed his love. This guy was the sketch that I sent to Emil and said, can you pull this off? Again, I wanted a guy with a just brutal faceplate that could be removed, and I wanted to be able to see the face through the teeth of the mask. So yeah, this is my design. Emil, as he always does, threw improvements on this thing. But yeah, he obviously, when I designed it or when I came up with this, God's Fire wasn't. We knew we were doing these Templar guys, but we hadn't come up with a story. And he wasn't necessarily going to be a bad guy, but the way that the story is flowing and changing all the time, and the way the Fallen came in, I'm like, no, this is the guy. This is the bad guy. This is the guy that the Fallen is chasing. And yeah.
Ah, so cool. And now you mentioned this guy has a removable faceplate. We can see the photo that we're sharing. You can see that face through the teeth. But this does have that removable faceplate. Let's look at it now. That's what we get when we pull off the faceplate. What an ugly, brutal-looking guy.
Amazing.
Oh,
so cool.
So good. I love it.
I mean, I feel like I'm patting myself on the back when I say that, but I'm really patting Emil.
Yeah, no, really. I mean, Stephen, from the start, this is your idea. Do not send this to me. Yeah, I sculpted it, but this is your original idea. Okay? So,
all right.
I have no plans to do a jaw like that. Okay? or the teeth up here. Okay?
And you know what? I actually just stopped sharing for a second because I wanted to bring up something else. Stephen, you keep talking about the original art that you sent. I actually have a piece of that here. So let's look at that so people can actually see what you sent Emil to do this piece.
Yeah, it's the upper left picture right there. I think I originally sent that to Len first. And before I was even really talking to Emil, and Len goes, we'll do a front shot and like a 3/4 view and send it back to me, kid. So I did. And then he said, yeah, I think that's when he says, yeah, you should probably talk to Emil about this.
But it's really cool to see what we have here and how it really did become that finished sculpture that we just saw. I really, really like that. I also love the artistic process. So I love seeing behind the scenes of how these pieces start, what the actual, inspiration was, or what the original control art was. I love that stuff.
And I mean, when I see this, I look at it and then I come back with some questions, and Stephen says, no, you cannot change that. Yeah, you can do whatever you want with that part, but no, do not change that. And I mean, that's very fun.
Yeah, there's an example. You see the two side spikes that stick out from his ears, the ear area. That's
Yep.
an Emil add-on. But he also added some other spikes that was like, no, that does. We gotta. I like these, but not that.
Yep. And that's cool. That's part of that creative process.
Yes.
So again, looking at another piece here that's got the mask off. Another cool piece that I can see people using either with the mask on, with the mask off. I could even see people doing multiple heads with that mask on to make kind of a little like marauding type gang. Really, really cool, guys. Wonderful, wonderful things that people have to be excited for.
And a fun thing that you're learning when you're doing these kind of masks is that you're starting to figure out how to replicate this with other designs.
Yep.
But just starting. I'm not. Well, we're all learning. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now we also have. Oh, go ahead.
No, please. I'm going to bring something else up. So go ahead and talk.
We also have a pauldron design and it's an early stage. It's a drawing by me that we want to have, and it's meant for the Dragon Warrior, but obviously we can use it with anybody. Do you have a picture? Do you have that one, Jeremy?
I do. Actually, that was the last piece. You sent me these right before we went on air, and you said, hey, I've got a couple pieces of art that we were working on. Can we show those as well? So I do have those. Let me bring that up. So I think this is what you're referring to with the shoulder pauldron.
Yeah, this is going to be Emil's going to take this and make it into something amazing. I know. You noticed the detail I gave the nipple.
Very convincing, Stephen.
I think, Stephen, we should also say that, I mean, we did the God's Fire group, and we have done this character that ties into the Fallen, but he is also a part of another group.
Yes.
So if we've seen a good guy group, kind of, then this will be the start of another group.
Okay, so you sent me a few other pieces of art, Stephen. I'm going to bring them up now, and I don't know if they're part of this other group, but we've got this character here. Who's this?
This is part of a third group.
The third group. Okay, who's this? So what are we looking at here? What's this piece of art?
This is an ogre head that we want to Emil is gonna sculpt, which is funny, even though it is an ogre scale head, but he is the first character in our Goblin group. This is actually was this is a baby. This is a baby that a goblin mother found, and she raised it with her goblins. Think elf. He got huge, and he still thinks he's part of this goblin family. He's big and he's kind of dumb and slow, and he's a big baby. Which will be with the rest of the group is going to be a family of sorts of disgusting goblins that we're going to start. We don't have the family fleshed out super well, but this guy is going to happen for sure. He may be the first. The ogre will be the first addition to the first offering from the goblin family.
Okay, what about this guy? Let's look at another piece here. Who's this character?
This guy, or a version of this guy. Now, like I said, this is just preliminary art, kind of what we're thinking about. This guy will be the wizard character of our bad guy group. He'll be with the Dragon Warriors group, and this head is meant for a 2.0 body.
Okay, so this goes with that group that's going to be, connected to the God's Fire story, but the bad versions of them.
Yes. Yep.
Excellent.
And then we'll have both females and males in that group.
Okay, both females and males. Females are actually one thing that I don't think get a ton of representation from the customizers, so that's cool too. And then this last one here, it's crazy looking character. What's this, Stephen?
This is our crazy psycho barbarian that's also going to be in that group.
Okay.
He's insane. He's dirty. He's disgusting. He's hairy. And that's just kind of the very start of him. I'm sure there will be a lot of embellishments to this, but this is how I get my message across. I say to Emil, we should do a crazy barbarian, and that doesn't do it. So I sent him that sketch, and then he's got a better idea what I'm thinking.
I just did that recently. The new Kitsune series that Walter and I are working on. I did some sketches, and they weren't the greatest sketches. They weren't anywhere near as good as the ones you've done, Stephen. But even sending them to Walter, like, hey, this is what I'm thinking of. This is how I want this positioned. He said the same thing where he's like, no, that's super helpful. It lets me know what I have to sculpt. Right, Walter? Yeah. All right, cool. Well, we're coming up on 4:30. Can you believe that we've been doing this for 2.5 hours? Where did the time go?
I don't know.
We want to thank everyone that joined us here today for the Team Wolf King Holiday Special and Reveal Extravaganza. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing everything we had to see. Before we let everyone go, any last words? Walter, I'll start with you. Anything you want to say to the audience? Oh, I don't think you're on. I don't know if we got your mic there. Walter, I don't think we've got your microphone. How about you, Emil?
Yeah, I want to say thanks to all the friends that I'm chatting with all the time about different figures. It's just, this is my biggest hobby. This is so fun. And shout out to Eddie Salvatore III, who pushed me to contact Len in the first place.
Very cool. Excellent. Stephen?
I'm just happy to be here. It's fun. This is the funnest thing I got going right now in my life. So, yeah, I'm just glad that I met all of you and we're doing this.
So, Stephen, can we elaborate on that a little bit? Because I do know that you have some other people that you do projects with, and you just threw down the gauntlet and said, this is the most fun you are having. So is it safe to say that we can tell Travis that you enjoy spending time with LBC more than you do with him?
Those guys mean nothing to me now.
You heard it here first, folks. Excellent. Walter, did we get your microphone back or no? Nope, don't think so. Well, Walter, he actually said in here earlier, he actually said, thanks to everyone who joined us and shows support every day in the Cabal, both for Legions and Cosmic. They give their shares, their likes, buying our art, and showing them in their custom figures. So, Walter, thanks there. Len, I saved you for last. What do you got to say to everyone? I mean, this is you're the puppet master that's pulling all these strings for this group of artists, bringing all this stuff out. What are your thoughts?
I want to thank everyone involved for the last year. It's been an incredible journey. It's really humbling to work with such talented people and Steve. It's a really amazing thing to put things out there in the world and have people like show their support by buying them basically, but also taking the time to add their own creativeness and paints and building the amazing customs that they do. So I definitely want to thank the fans, because without the fans, we're all nothing. We don't have anything. I don't have anything. And you guys, the support the fan base gives us is just incredible. And I want to, of course, thank Four Horsemen Studios for making such an amazing line of figures that brought us together as a group, not just us, but the larger group like the Cabal and everyone else. It's just it's an amazing community, and I'm blessed to be a part of it. And thank you to everyone again that is doing all the hard work with me to make this all work. And Steve can go to hell.
Thank you very much, Len. Yeah, I mean, again, I will echo that comment. Thank you to Four Horsemen
That
Studios.
Steve can go to hell. What is it? I mean, seriously.
No,
Thank
not
you.
that one, Stephen. No, I mean, I said it earlier that this community is as good as it is because it starts at top with the Horsemen. Not only the fact that they've given us a great line, but they've given us their support as well. They genuinely love the 3D community. They love the customizing community. I said at the start that, you know, I'm fortunate to work with them as the digital marketing manager. I can tell you that they love this stuff. They love the people that not only support the line, but that add their creativity to it. It helps fuel their creativity as well. So thank you, as everyone has said, to all of the fans of Wolf King. Thank you to everyone that tunes in, not only to this special, but to my show, Mythic Conversations, every single week. I am going to let I see a couple questions here. Amazingly, we talked for 2.5 hours, and we have yet to actually mention the website address for Wolf King Customs. So I'm going to do that right now. All of the cool stuff you are seeing is going to be available at www.wolfkingcustoms.com. You can check out all the stuff there. You can get the sales, sign up for the newsletter so you can get the emails about any updates. There's a blog on there that there's constantly new information being posted. We do post in the Cabal as well. I post on my Instagram at Mythic Customs. I know all these artists post on their Instagrams as well. But if you want to go to the source, the place to find it all and to buy these products, that is www.wolfkingcustoms.com. With that, Team Wolf King is going to sign off saying Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Whatever you celebrate, please celebrate it well. Stay safe. We will see you in 2021. Thank you, everybody. Can't wait to talk to you soon.